In my opinion, Andor is one of the best pieces of Star Wars media we've ever gotten. It has everything: well written characters, an amazing, well executed story, brilliant dialogue, intense, gripping action scenes, great visual effects, and some very emotional and memorable moments. One of my favorite things about Andor is how the show portrayed the Empire. For once, the Empire feels like an actual threatening galactic force, instead of feeling like just a generic group of bad guys that we've seen before. We get to see different parts of the Empire and how they operate, like the ISB for example, which actually feels like a competent, ruthless organization. The show even manages to make stormtroopers feel threatening, which is crazy because before this show, stormtroopers were anything but threatening. Before there were these like goofy, disposable NPCs, but in Andor, they are genuinely intimidating. The show does a fantastic job of making you hate the Empire, something that, in my opinion, no other Star Wars project ever did. We get to see how aggressive the Empire is in this show. We see them shooting at protesters, we hear about them arresting or hanging innocent civilians, like it feels like a true dictatorship. Another thing I love about Andor is that it didn't show any Sith or Jedi. The show instead focuses on the everyday citizens. In Andor, there are no lightsabers or any cameos of beloved characters because there doesn't need to be. And by straying away from what we're all used to, and instead focusing on the human element of Star Wars, it makes the world feel much more lived in, and makes the overall show feel much more grounded and realistic. Another thing about Andor that further reinforces the grounded and realistic tone are the politics. There's a huge emphasis on the politics in this show, and the crazy thing is, I wasn't even bored during these scenes. In fact, I actually enjoyed them. I have no idea how the showrunners managed to make me interested in politics, but somehow, those crazy bastards did it. There are even full episodes with zero action, and it's just characters talking, but it still manages to keep you engaged. The show also has some of the best dialogue I've ever heard, and I'm not just talking about in Star Wars, I mean in general too. There are some incredible lines in the show that you could quote. Oppression is the mask of fear, tyranny requires constant effort, I burn my life to make a sunrise I know I'll never see. Like, holy shit, dude. Whoever wrote these lines, they cooked, bro. They cooked. Give them a raise immediately. Another great thing about Andor are its characters. Everyone in Andor feels like an actual person. They all have their own distinct personalities and motivations. Hell, even something as small as Cyril being nervous about public speaking adds so much to his character. And in Season 1, every character was given the perfect amount of attention. Season 1 was flawless in my opinion. It was perfectly split into 3 arcs. In the first arc, we learn about Cassian's backstory. In the second arc, Cassian goes under the name Clem and joins a small team of rebels to help steal a payroll of an entire Imperial garrison. And in the third arc, Cassian gets thrown into prison, along with many other innocent civilians to help build the Death Star. The prison arc is definitely my favorite arc in the entire show. Season 2, however, felt a little rushed in comparison to Season 1. I didn't like that they kept going forward 1 year every 2 or 3 episodes. It felt like the show was meant to be 4 or 5 seasons, but it got squished into 2 seasons, and because of this, several important characters are sidelined, and unfortunately this includes Cassian himself. Season 2 of Andor, I don't know if it was just me, but Season 2 of Andor reminded me a lot of Season 2 of Arcane, where they just had too many ideas, but not enough time to tell everything in a cohesive way. So as a result, it ended up just feeling less focused than its predecessor. Like, for example, the episode where they explore Luthen and Clea's relationship. I really liked the episode, but it feels like they definitely could have gone deeper with that storyline if they were just given more time. And this episode isn't the only example. The same goes for Cassian and Kay. After seeing their super fun dynamic in Rogue One, I was really looking forward to even more screen time with these two. And to be fair, I did get that, but I wanted more. But at the end of the day, this doesn't ruin the show, but it definitely is an issue. All that being said though, Season 2 is still an incredible season of television. Andor is the first Star Wars project that made me forget that I was even watching Star Wars, because we've never seen Star Wars being told in this like mature, grounded way before, and then a character will mention Palpatine or we'd see a stormtrooper in the background and I'd be reminded that I was in fact watching a Star Wars show. I was also quite surprised with the amount of Andor original characters they decided to keep alive, like Bix, Vel, or Dedra. It was so satisfying seeing Dedra in prison, by the way, at the end of the series, and when the show revealed at the end that Cassian had become a father, that hurt, man. That hurt. Now I can never look at the ending of Rogue One the same way ever again. After seeing everything that Cassian went through in Andor, all the friends and family he lost, all the pain and isolation he endured, seeing him die now is even more tragic and heartbreaking, but I also think it is a very fitting ending for Cassian as well. They took a character that wasn't really all that developed or interesting, and turned him into one of the most complex, well-written characters in all of Star Wars. Like, that's crazy. And it's so funny to me that a show about Cassian Andor of all characters, a show made by Disney, ended up being one of the greatest pieces of Star Wars we've ever gotten. Anyway, I'm giving Andor a 9.3 out of 10. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of Andor. Did you like it? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments below, and that's about it. See ya.